real love or real compassion is when you help someone get to the next step in their journey, not in your journey.
Yeah.
And that means being able to be present with them wherever they are, even if it seems like a foreign alien land to you. I really feel like if anyone has anyone in their life who's struggling, please send that to them. Please share that with them, because that they need to hear it from someone else who's been there sometimes also, because if you've not been there, you may not know how to say, and I think that's the other thing, right? The other side is, one side is we say, oh, you should be happy, you're fine. The other side is we try and fix it.
Yeah.
You can't, right?
Yeah, you can't. And
you can't solve it.
You
there
can't,
is no perfect
there is
thing.
no, right. You can't solve it. The best that we can do is like, you can try to meet them where they are and let's get help. We can do it together and hold hands and get them to someone professional.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I will say it's really healing when someone can join you.
Mm-hmm.
It's also having that boundary of understanding too, that you can only do but so much as well.
Mm-hmm.
A person has to really want help.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I would tell the person that might be struggling to just stay open to try everything. You know what I mean? Like I tried everything until I found the thing.
Yeah.
And just keep walking until you find the thing.
That obviously happens a lot later on, even though you start the book with that. But there was a time when you believed that Hollywood and having it all
would do it.
Yes. Even before you get to this point. And also what I find fascinating is you grew up where like drug dealing was normal.
Yep.
You were in that scene. You were meeting people. Everyone around you was in that scene. You weren't, as from what I gathered from the book and the time we've spent together, there weren't a lot of people who were breaking that mold.
Yeah, no.
What was it that made you, believe that you could move to LA when you were 18 and break that mold, and that you didn't have to fall into the pattern of everyone around you? And at the same time, secondly, what was it that made you believe that that would solve it, that was what was missing?
Thank goodness along the way, I had great mentors like Donald Hicken, at Baltimore School for the Arts, that was like, Jada, you've got more talent in the pinky of your little pinky than most people have in their whole bodies, that he forced me to go, into that audition for North Carolina School for the Arts. And that's what got me out of Baltimore, so that I could just get away from that lifestyle and break that mentality, right? And then once I got immersed again into my arts, I was like, wow, I really love this. And once I click into something, like my mind goes, pew, you know what I mean? And then Pac came to LA. Well, he wasn't in LA, he was in Northern California. And Pac kept saying, you gotta get out here. It's popping. You know what I mean? And now he's like, you gotta come out here and visit. And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna get out there. Pac was another one too that was just like, you got it, Jada, you got it. And I'm like, all right, I'm coming, So I told my mom, I was like, you got two choices. Because I still wasn't quite sure yet, I was like, I could go to LA and see if I can do this Hollywood thing, or I could become a lawyer and take all my dramatics to the court, right? To the courthouse. And she said, we're going to LA.
Wow.
Once I got to LA, I was like, you're here. Make it happen. And part of what made me think that I could do it wasn't just about talent, but was just my perseverance and just my go. I'm a pit bull when it comes to when I want something, especially in my youth. I'm not so much a pit bull anymore. But in my youth, once I put my mind to something, I was like, go get it. And I really felt like how everybody else feels, like, yo, once I make it, once I'm rich and famous, all my problems are going to be solved. You know what I mean? My problems are going to be solved. My mom's problems are going to be solved. Everybody's problems are going to be solved. I got this. You know what I'm saying? And that was a trip, because that wasn't the case. And I think that that's still prevalent. People feel like once you get to a certain level of success, you are exempt from the human experience. You are exempt from the human condition. And the truth is, that is not the case. And let me tell you, I had an existential drop in realizing, hold it, wait a minute, hold it. Like, my career is popping. I got money. I'm hot.
People are pursuing you.
I got every dude everywhere wanting it. You know what I mean? Like, I can have anybody I want. Why am I not happy? God, now this wasn't the plan. I couldn't believe it, because that was the whole idea. You make it. You pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. You make it, and life's great. And thank goodness at that particular point in time, I had Pac. That I could go, like, we could share that together, because he was going through the same existential disappointment. He thought the same thing. That was like the beginning of just like, wait a minute, then if it's not this, then what is it?
It's incredible. Like, you had a supportive friend in Tupac. You had this amazing friend who was saying, you've got this, you're talented. And that can really help.
Yeah.
And at the same time, there's a whole nother inner journey that has to happen with it. So that was externally, it was empowering, it was inspiring, it was great to have someone believe in you. And we all need that.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it was like this other reminder of
the inner world was not together.
Yeah.
At all, and being completely ignored. You know, and it would take me years to realize that, oh no, it's not just about what's happening on the outside, Jada. But if your inner world is not your foundation, it's all sandcastles. You know, I had a nervous breakdown, then I moved to Baltimore, I get a farmhouse there, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna get out of LA. So I'm making a geographical move. I'm like, I just gotta get back to my roots. You know, I gotta get back to my roots. And then Will comes along, and I'm like, maybe that's it. I need a man, you know? And then it's like, latch onto that. It's like, okay, that's my new Prozac. Will, you know, now it's his job to make my life better. That doesn't work either. So the ego is just attached to all these different exterior things until eventually I had to crash into really having to look at the shambles of my inner world and rebuild it. And I say rebuild it because I feel like when we're born, that inner world is intact. But I had to really strip it all down, Jay, to the bare bones, the bolts, and just start inwardly from the bottom and just build. And it's been a wild ride. It's been a wild ride of what that means and what that looks like.